all know a guy who only occasionally shaves for big occasions, and it's because that occasional shave really hurts. It's the time of year for big occasions, and yet there he is, suffering with that cheap drugstore razor. Let's help him out. Henson Shaving's line of razors, built with aerospace precision, deliver a smooth shave your dad, brother, and even son can enjoy, eventually. With replacement blades just 10 cents each, you'll buy it once and they'll use it for life. How's that for the perfect gift? Celebrate with 100 free blades on your first purchase, and no subscription headaches. HensonShaving.com/holiday.
Introducing Carvana Value Tracker, where you can track your car's value over time and learn what's driving it. It might make you excited.
Whoa, didn't know my car was valued this high.
It might make you nervous.
Uh-oh, market's flooded. My car's value just dipped 2.3%.
It might make you optimistic.
Our low mileage is paying off. Our value's up.
And it might make you realistic.
Car prices haven't gone up in a couple weeks. Maybe it's time to sell.
But it will definitely make you an expert on your car's value. Carvana Value Tracker. Visit Carvana.com to start tracking your car's value today.
Welcome to the No Fruit Podcast,
where we talk about our life experiences with a spiritual twist. Hosted by Maurice
and Kafa. We hope you enjoy today's episode.
Hey everyone, I hope you do enjoy today's episode.
Hello.
We thank all of you for your prayers and concerns for our show from last week. I was going through it, and I must tell you that by the grace of God, I'm still here. And that he truly had worked on me over the last couple days. I'm going to be real with you. So, today, in all honesty, we don't have a topic for today per se. And I think it was purposefully done, if you will. Nothing being come to my mind as far as a topic or something to talk about or whatever it might have been. I think that's because we might need to treat this episode like a traditional church praise and worship testimonial time, if you will.
Okay.
All right. So and I'm saying that because sometimes in those situations, it's all free willy-nilly, right? and you're not sure which old lady in what hat is going to out-testify the next, if you will. And who's going to, and what they're going to say, and who's going to actually say the same testimony each and every time they step up. So for me today, I just want to say I thank God for everything that he has done and where he's taking the No Fruit podcast. He is truly molding it into something totally different than what I had originally thought of it to be. When I first originally had thought about it and wanted to start it, I think I finally had the opportunity to sit down with myself and say, Maurice, it's time for you to let go.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I mean? So, I really want to thank God for that opportunity, that mindset, for me to be in my right mind, if you will, to be at that point. Because otherwise, if I was in my right mind, I would still have in my mind to take control. I was in the right space,
Mm-hmm.
In the right place, if you will. So that's what I had to say for my testimonial. Miss Chism, do you have a testimony?
Well, first, giving honor to God.
Yes.
Who is the head of my life. He's the author and the finisher of my faith.
Yes.
He's the Alpha and the Omega,
Mm-hmm.
my beginning and my end.
Right.
He's made a way out of no way.
Most definitely.
And I must say that I am truly, truly blessed
Mm-hmm.
beyond measure.
Right.
Beyond whatever I could ever ask for or think of. God has truly opened up the windows of heaven and poured out blessings upon me.
Mm-hmm.
So I must say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jesus, for just being my God and being my everything.
Right.
Being the will in the middle of the will.
Right.
being my all in all, being my backbone and being my leader and being my everything. So my testimony is that when you pray and you fast and you lay things before the Lord, he will truly come forth and answer. And sometimes it's not always what you think it's going to be.
Right.
And we have to be careful not to question God's move. But it's hard as human in our flesh when God moves and it's not the way we think it would be.
Right.
Or how we want it to be.
Right.
So the Lord has blessed this family abundantly.
Most definitely.
You know, overflowing. God continues to make a way each and every single month where we have overflow. And I am grateful. So for that, I say thanks. Again, just with the prayers and the fasting, things that was laying before the Lord for some newness, for some change, for whatever it was, he's made a way. He's provided in some ways I wasn't sure of or whatever. But God found a way for me to get a promotion in my employment. And it wasn't anything I was looking for. I was really praying and fasting for something else. But he found a way for this to happen, and I questioned it. God, is this really what you want? You know, but because I wasn't asking for it, he was just like, yeah, I'm giving this to you.
Right.
So I was very careful because I wasn't sure. I had a lot of doubt about the promotion. So very cautious in that decision of should you go for this promotion or should you not?
Right.
Those types of things. You know, I'm hearing so many different things about moving up within the organization. So at the end of the day, you know, I had to follow God. Like, God, if you're giving this to me, like, why wouldn't I take it? Would that be a slap in God's face to walk away from his blessing?
Right.
And I keep getting that over and over again. It was another time where someone was trying to give money to me or for my son. And I was just like, no, hold off. Like, you know, give it a little while. Wait until everything is said and done, until he's ready to go to college and all that, and then give it. And the Lord rebuked me in all of that. And it was just like, no, when somebody's ready to give you something, you need to have your hands open, ready to receive it. You know, that God has blessed that person to want to give. Because next month they may not have it.
Right. Right.
So I had to repent at that particular time and call that person back and say, I'm sorry.
Right. Right.
I do apologize. The Lord is dealing with me. And please, you know, go ahead and send those funds on over. So, you know, again, a lot of times we're not looking for things. And I think we as a people have been taught not to ask for much or look for much. You know, we seem to be a little more lowly, a little more meek. And when a whole lot happens, we're just not quite sure. We question it, and we sometimes are skeptical about it and whatever. But,
most definitely,
you know, God came to give us a life. And you just think about life and all that life has to offer, but then he came to give it more abundantly.
Right, right.
So not only to have life and to live, but to live in abundance, to have more and have leftovers and have enough to give to somebody else. That's just a great thing. So that's my testimony, that if you live long enough, if you pray and you fast, God will truly, truly hear from you. And he may bless you in a way that you're not expecting. But when that unexpected blessing comes, please receive it.
And so one thing I would like to piggyback on in reference to your promotion, if you will. Kafa and I, we talked about it over and over and over again for some time, because the way it was offered, we talked about it, and then when the job actually had become available to even apply, I would say we not quite agonized over it, but we did talk about it a lot. But one of the things that I had brought up was, it's interesting that God opened up this door as soon as Kafa had finished helping to host this women's conference. And I just thought that was very, very interesting that during this women's conference and everything they had talked about, and to be honest, because I was requested to even host, I was asked to participate, meaning to host the conference, but because there was a concern of the technical side and male being involved, I asked Kafa to do it. And so her willingness to do it without any muss or fuss, and she got it done.
A little bit. We're doing testimony. We got to keep it real. I did fuss a little bit. I rolled my eyes.
Can I be honest, though? She didn't fuss. Not for real, for real. She could have fussed. It could have been a real fuss. She might have struggled with it because of uncertainty of, hey, I've never done that before, but that wasn't a real fuss to me, if you will. Okay. And I get where you're coming from, but I think that, and I can't sit here and say like you did it joyfully, like, oh yeah, let's go. You wasn't like that, but I think because of that, and your spirit and on taking on that particular role and how it was done and how professional and you handled your business with that. I think God found a way to bless you, in that because you just faithful in that, in that situation. So, and on top of that, we had already talked about, is it time for you to move on from your current position or whatever else anyway? So you had the women's conference and then you got blessed. So I think that, as you stated, like sometimes we question things or whatever, not understanding really that God's hand is already in it, because again, we're human, right? And that's just our natural thing of just questioning it. Even though, and I'm gonna be honest with you, those individuals that say, hey, you know what, I just know it was God from the beginning, half of them people I don't believe, in all honesty, because it just doesn't seem genuine, if you will. And it's something else too. So I listened to some people when they talked about some of these PPP or loans or whatever they were getting as far as money being put into their bank accounts, things like that. I think when they were given some of these, and I'm talking about some of my clients, if you will, where the government had given them some money because of the company that they are, being, what are they called? Essential employees, if you will. And they didn't know how to spend the money, or should they spend the money, like the money just popped up in their account one day, and not understanding that that was a blessing unto itself. Mm-hmm. Some people got it and just saw the money pop up, and then they spent it all willy-nilly. And then there's some, like my clients, I had more than one client where that happened to, and they just sat back and waited for the dust to clear, if you will. But even with that, like they were ready to give that back. Like you said, like that individual who was ready to give you some money for our son, and you was like, nah. Well, the same thing with that company. Like they was like, nah. Like who did I send this back to? Like evidently this was the wrong thing. They called their bank, and the bank was like, no, this is from the government. So, I think sometimes that we don't understand what the true blessings are and where they're truly coming from, especially if we keep praying for it, especially when we fasting for it. And it may not always come in the form that we're looking at or looking for, if you will. And because God is going to give us really what we need. He's going to give us what we want too. But if our need is greater, he's going to provide our needs. So, so as you stated, that sometimes we can't, we get caught up in the questionnaire, if you will. All right, Lord, is this really you? How do I know it's you? All right, I need you to knock on my door 3 times and make me spend, we have all these other criterias, and God is just like, look, I am he. That's it.
That's it.
It.
God said it, and that settles it.
Right.
But like you said, we look for so much more.
Right.
I remember when we were about to get married, and one of my friends had asked, like, how do you know? Like, he's the one. And I just said, when you know, you know. That's it. There's nothing more to it. You just have that feeling.
And, even for myself, when we first got together from the very beginning, it was rough because I only can speak for myself, between whatever baggage I had personally. But even with that, sometimes you don't understand what God really has for you.
Right.
And what that true value is in that. Not saying I didn't value you, but what was our relationship, and what has he already ordained? And sometimes you don't understand that. Right. And because you don't understand the blessing, you don't understand what he has in store, you can't see the future. You want to make it yourself, not realizing like, hey, in all honesty, like my steps are already ordered, so like you said, so if someone asks you, hey, how he's the one, sometimes it's hard to put that into words. We try to justify it, in a lot of different ways. Oh, they got good hair. Oh, they got pretty eyes, but, oh, he's tall. Oh, she's short. Oh, whatever, all those type of things, not understanding like, no, God has already put it so that you're going to be bigger and greater than what you even imagine today. So,
he's got good hair, and then, 20 years later, he's bald. So,
I mean, that's the one good thing. I ain't bald.
Not saying you, I'm just saying the reason why people,
I know, right?
Think that the relationship is good. But I mean, like you said, hey, in the beginning it was rough because we were young.
Right.
We weren't sure. We weren't sure of ourselves, let alone of the relationship and where the relationship would go. But something still deep within felt right.
Right.
That you couldn't explain. I couldn't explain.
And to be honest, I mean, I guess what's your definition of young? Because some people don't feel like we were young. That, I will put it like this. We weren't that young. We were young enough, if you will. Because we were 24 and 26 respectively. Right?
When we got married, I'm just saying during the courting time. Oh,
yeah. Oh, yeah, it was a whole lot of stuff going on.
When we were married, I think there was a little more surety and a little more idea of where we're going at that particular time. But I think during our dating time, our courting moments.
Right. Our courting moments.
Yes. That there was, I remember many a day praying, Lord, you sure this the one you want me to be with?
Yeah.
Why is this happening? Why, again, all of those questions.
Right.
Why me? Why him? Why this? Why? And, I don't think I've ever really gotten the answer. It is what it is. And this is what it's supposed to be.
And I think in that, as we are, even as you say, even though you didn't get an answer, and whether or not you still have a question about that, let's be 100% honest, though. We have been the model for a lot of our family members to be married after us.
And friends.
Yes, and friends. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, and we are blessed to the point of where the ratio of our family and friends that's got married like right after us, 2, 3, 4 years right after us in that time frame, our ratio of people staying married is way greater. Let's real rap. We have, if we had to put it down as a success rate, we're probably at like a 98, 96%. Let's be honest, because I mean, and granted, that shows what type of people we have been and who we surround ourselves with, and that's a testimony unto itself.
Right.
And even if we have to question, and I said we have to question because we're just human, sometimes we just find it like, we need to answer or we need to question or whatever it might be. But in that, just look at what the fruits have been thus far. How many people have said they looked up to us throughout the years and that they've tried their best to stay together, and most of them have. So when you take a look at that, what is your testimony for yourself? Where has God put you in a position of influence, of leadership, and not realizing that that's exactly who you are and what you've been. You have no clue who's looking at you and who's thanking God every day just for you.
Right.
So I encourage each and every one of you to, send us an email, send us a message on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, just to say, hey, what is your testimony? Give us give us your ideas on that. I know we stated, we have a lot of testimony from last week. We have testimonies from us being married. Come September, we'll be married for 21 years.
21?
Yes, 21 years.
21 years.
And
Blackjack.
that doesn't mean you're right. And that doesn't, wait a minute, we can't say that. This is a holy channel. I'm sorry. Anyway,
They have holes in those cards when you play. You know that?
huh?
Don't they have holes in the... Or maybe they have holes in the cards when they give them to you after you've played. Don't they put holes in the cards? I don't know. Okay, anyway.
All right. So, okay. So I think that as you start to take a look back over your life and see what God has done for you.
Right.
You think about all the times that he's pulled you through, how he's blessed you, even though the cliche thing of he's made a way out of no way. I mean, there was a way. It just mattered that you want to lose yourself in it, to be honest, and God showed you a different way. He talked to you, through probably many means to say, hey, you know what? Don't go down this path. Go down this path. So, this episode is all about testimony and just thanking God for who he is and what he is in our lives. And I hope that you can do the exact same thing on an everyday basis. Sometimes we forget it. Trust me, I forget it all the time. But hopefully you can find that moment to just say, God, thank you.
Thank you.
My Father, I thank you. My Lord and Savior, I thank you. Thank you for the presence of the Holy Spirit. Just thank you, whatever it might be. And, Kav, you got anything else to say?
Thank you.
Hey, Kafa, what do we want them to do?
Maurice, we want everyone to stay fit with Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Follow, share, comment, and subscribe to the No Fruit Podcast.
Continue to listen to us on your favorite podcast channels.
And look for new episodes every Thursday.
We thank y'all very much for listening to us.
May God bless you all.
Peace.
We We all know a guy who only occasionally shaves for big occasions, and it's because that occasional shave really hurts. It's the time of year for big occasions, and yet there he is, suffering with that cheap drugstore razor. Let's help him out. Henson Shaving's line of razors, built with aerospace precision, deliver a smooth shave your dad, brother, and even son can enjoy, eventually. With replacement blades just 10 cents each, you'll buy it once and they'll use it for life. How's that for the perfect gift? Celebrate with 100 free blades on your first purchase, and no subscription headaches. HensonShaving.com/holiday.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.